These are the Xreal 1 glasses that basically puts a massive screen directly in front of your face. So you can use it for productivity, handheld consoles, or even your phone. I've used them for about 10 days now, and I want to review them from the screen all the way to, is this a replacement for VR and AI glasses? Or is this going to be your new expensive dust collector? Let's begin with why I bought them. So I actually been looking at the previous version of these glasses because I want a bigger screen. Currently, I have 3 different screens and I wish I just had a massive screen. And when I saw that they launched this on CES this year, I was just craving to get them in my hand, especially since it had the ultra wide setting, which would remove basically the need for all my 3 monitors. So I just dropped everything. I went to a first store in Bangkok. They didn't have it. The second store in Bangkok, they didn't have it. But the last and final store actually had the new Xreal ones and I was able to get them. Pretty much the only store in all of Thailand. I couldn't wait to get home and start testing them, especially for the point of ease of use. This is one of my favorite things about it. You just plug the cable right in here. You put the other USB-C into any of your devices, and within 2 seconds, you have a giant screen in front of you. No menus, no setup. It literally is plug and play. They have a menu inside that you can access by double-clicking one of the buttons, and I found that extremely intuitive to use. And my surprise came when I put them on other people and they were able to access the menu and intuitively go in and change the settings themselves on the first try. But the second question is obviously, how good is the screen? When I put them on for the first time, I was trying to peep at the pixels to see if I could see some tiny pixels, but I really couldn't. It just felt like a massive screen in front of me, just like the quality that you get from a high quality monitor or a laptop screen. But of course, it was huge and straight in front of my face. You can adjust the screen size to be quite small in front of you, or it can go as big as a theater where you kind of have to look all the way up to see your screen. I usually keep it quite small at 2 meters away from me and around 61 inches because that is what works best for the field of view. Specifically, if I use it with my Steam Deck playing video games, I usually like to have it on the standard mode and just a massive screen in front of me while I'm chilling on the sofa. For work or productivity, I usually always go into the ultra wide setting because then I get so much control over all the windows. And to explain the ultra wide to somebody that hasn't tried these glasses is really weird. It's almost like I have a massive screen going all the way around me, so I can just move my head to look over here, move my head to look over there. And that's one of the things you need to note about these glasses in particular. They have a 50-inch field of view. And when we go to the Pro version that hasn't come out yet, they have a 57-inch field of view. And what that means is, let's say we size the screen up to a massive screen the size of a theater, you will only be able to see the 50-inch screen view and everything else is going to be black. So if you want to reveal the top left corner, you have to look at it. That's why I like to keep it smaller so you can kind of always see what's on the screen when I have it in the one screen mode. But in the ultra wide, I actually don't care to see what's on the left and right. I just care to see what's in focus. So I actually quite like that. So if you're thinking that you need a wider field of view, I definitely don't think I need it, but let's keep that in mind when we talk about the future coming a little later. For the screen modes, you obviously you can stick it directly where you want it. So whether that's in front of you or if it's above you or below you, it will just be locked in place. And when you move your head around, it doesn't follow you anywhere. You can turn this off as well, and you can get the screen to follow you. There's also a toggle that you can switch on called side view, I think. link that is up in the top left corner, so you can essentially cook dinner and watch a little YouTube video on the side if you have the phone connected. I primarily use the fixed in place version, but I did find that when I was eating food, for example, I could turn the transparency mode on and then I can put the follow mode on because I'm kind of moving around, eating from this, eating from that. And it was quite annoying to always look up to look at the show that I was watching. So this was a complete new use case that I could never do with any screen before. I could see myself wearing these outside and having the side view on and the transparency mode on and literally be walking around in the streets, being able to see everything going on while also having a YouTube video popped up on the side. So the screen is good, but it also does come with a few negatives. There is definitely a focus where if you're dead on in the center, it's going to be a tiny bit more clear, more detailed than the edges. I don't find that the edges are blurry or they're unfocused. They're quite sharp, but they just get a tiny, maybe 5% less clear than the middle. And there is definitely a correct placement on the nose that gets this focus to be in the perfect spot. To me, this is not a big deal at all, but it's worth noting. So to me, the screen is clear, detailed, and sharp. But the next thing I was worried about was the comfort. So you can already see that the form factor is a pair of glasses. They come in at 80 grams, 84 grams. And comparing this on the comfort versus the Quest 2 that I had before is day. Your marketing manager will think you're cheating with this AI tool. It's called Metricool.com and you can use it for free. All you need to do is to connect your social profiles in here and then you can schedule out all your social content. Imagine you're going to create a post for LinkedIn and X. Well, we're just going to click it. Then I'm going to use the AI assistant and I'm going to copy paste a half decent idea into the AI. I'll select the tone of scientific, generate, and just like that, we got a great opinion piece. Now I can just schedule it out and you see it lands on the content calendar. For my YouTube videos, I can instantly just connect with Google Drive, select one of my videos, write a quick title and change some settings. And just like that, I'll schedule this to go out on YouTube without even logging into YouTube. We also have in-depth analytics on every post and follower from all platforms. Not to mention, we can even answer DMs in here. So go to Metricool by clicking the link in the description down below. Thank you so much to Metricool for sponsoring this section of the video. Was the comfort. So you can already see that the form factor is a pair of glasses. They come in at 80 grams, 84 grams. And comparing this on the comfort versus the Quest 2 that I had before is day and night. I was able to use this for 10 hours yesterday. First, doing high productivity tasks on my laptop, and second, using it on the Steam Deck on the couch, laid backwards with a massive screen in front of me playing games. So the comfort on these glasses are really high, and I would actually forget that I was wearing them at times where I would go up with the glasses and I thought that my TV was on, but it was off, and it was a really trippy situation, which just speaks to the comfort of it. Comparing this to the VR glasses is obviously a completely different experience. Taking it off, you have this rim around your face, and whenever I took off my VR headset, it was always like, thank God, I need a little bit of a break now. But now, pretty much every day, I see my 3 screens and I go looking for the glasses. Just give me the bigger screen. But the comfort doesn't come with all shining 5 stars. The one comfort and annoyance that is pretty much the most annoying thing about it is that the nose clamps or nose clips, not sure what this is called, they slide a bit down my nose. I've tried pushing them into my nose. I've tried changing the nose caps itself, but I still get this issue of it sliding down my nose. I'm not sure if this is just a glasses issue altogether, because it also happens with my normal glasses, and it definitely happens if I move around a lot. It might go down on my nose a little bit more. If I lay down on the couch and I have it kind of facing upwards, I don't have this issue as much. So this is my biggest annoyance with it, that I kind of have to readjust every 30 minutes to an hour if I'm sitting here and moving around too much. There may be a fix of putting a rubber band on top, but yeah, I wanted to tell you about that. Not a deal breaker, but it is an annoyance. And the last thing about comfort is eye strain. With normal use, I don't really get much eye strain at all, and I actually really like that you can have the transparency mode set on, and I get no motion sickness or any of the kind of symptoms that I would get from the VR glasses. You don't really get those here. But over the weekend, I was using them quite a lot, long into the night, and I did find that I would get the type of eye strain that I would get if I were to watch a big screen late at night before bed, where it's kind of your eyes are tired. You probably shouldn't be looking at the screen right now, especially if I didn't have any transparency setting on and it was all black on the sides. I actually found that turning a soft light on in the background and keeping the glasses on the most transparent actually reduced that feeling. So I would say if you use them for normal use, you would probably not notice any eye strain at all. But if you do use them quite late at night for many hours, it may be something to keep in mind. The next point I want to bring up is style. So actually, I would love for you to comment down below. Rate these from a scale to 1 to 10. I did it with my podcast host. Check out AI Andy podcast, link in description. And he said that it was a 6 out of 10. I think that's a pretty fair assessment. And also what I think is that it's a little bit too wide between the eyes and the lens, which kind of makes it a little bit weird. But if you were to use this outside, for example, walking around, or you were to use it in a cafe, I think it looks like this. Somebody may be walking and they glance over at you and they'll just see, oh, he's just wearing glasses. But if you were to sit in a cafe and the barista or something looks over you 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, they will definitely start noticing that you're using some sort of different tech, which puts them a little bit in the weird category. However, comparing these to the style of any VR headset, these ones are glasses. VR headsets are type of alien style. You see somebody wearing Apple Vision Pro, they're a little bit weird. You see somebody wearing this, it's a little bit more socially accepted, in my opinion at least, and I wouldn't care at all if I walk around with these or get seen with these, because the majority of people is going to glance at you once, see that it's glasses, and go back to their normal life. I actually really like the design of the glasses, how they look, and the shape of the glasses. But I have to say that if you were to only care about style, you would definitely go with the Ray-Bans from Meta. Like, obviously they look a lot cooler, but they don't even have a screen. Can't even do any work. In addition, when you use this at a cafe, you obviously have a completely private screen, so nobody can see what you are seeing, which is an added benefit. The second thing to note as well is because it's sitting so far away from your face in a sense, you actually can see down, which I find to be a benefit in comparison to many VR headsets, because you can actually see your keyboard, you can actually see your phone, so you don't have to take them off in order to use your phone or look around, which means that they're not as immersive as VR headset, and that actually is a benefit to me. Also, because I can see down, what I do is if I lay down on the couch and have my laptop in front of me, I will use this screen on top of the wall, and I can see down to my laptop screen, which I can have 2 separate screens, one of them playing a video game, one of them playing a YouTube video, which to me is probably the best way to turn into a couch potato. There's also 3 transparency modes. You can make the area around you completely black or completely transparent. And there's also a button that you can turn off the screen entirely and just show the transparent. So you could talk to somebody if they come into the room and see them perfectly clear without taking off the glasses. But in addition to style, we also have to talk about build quality. This feels really premium. It doesn't at all feel cheap. It feels rigid. It really is not a flimsy device. It has the option to change the angle of the back here for even better comfort and focus. And the heat does escape from the top of the sunglasses here. It does get a little bit warm and you might feel it a little bit at the top in between your eyes, but it's not uncomfortable at all. I have an air-conditioned apartment. I don't know if it gets into problems if you're using them in a really hot environment. So that is something to note before we go into the audio quality. The audio here was tuned by Bose, and you can see that they actually come out directly from this little corner here and shoots directly into your ear. This is obviously an open ear solution, and the number one thing that I was looking for is the volume loud enough? Like when I buy a cheap pair of headphones, the volume might not be as high as I actually want it to be. But I found myself actually using them on not the highest setting because it was a little bit too loud when I'm in this apartment. However, if I'm walking outside, taking the Bangkok SkyTrain, for example, it's not the greatest quality audio because it's obviously open air. So it will compete with people talking and car noises and things like that, which is not ideal outside. But in the inside of my quiet apartment, I actually didn't need to put my AirPods in because I felt like the audio quality was good enough. It's not as great as the AirPods Pro, obviously, but for the majority of use cases, I literally found I'm too tired to have these earplugs in, so I kind of just want to have the open air solution, which actually means that in this tiny little device, you get audio and a screen all at the same time. The only negative is outside open ear headphones. You get it. They are also so loud that if you have it on the max setting and if you're in a cafe and somebody's sitting right next to you, they will definitely hear you. So take that into consideration. So those are the main criterias, but there are some important key points that if you're watching this right now, you might want to keep this in mind. This is the Xreal 1. And in a couple of months, you're going to get access to the Xreal 1 Pro. This one has a prism, so you see that it's kind of bent a little bit in the eyewear here, whereas in the Pro, you actually don't have a prism, you have a direct circular, I don't know how to explain this, different technology that is a little bit tinier and it actually pushes a little bit closer to your face. This is a 50-inch field of view, while in the Pros, you will get a 57-inch field of view. So that means when you look around, you see a little bit more of the screen. For me, it isn't really necessary. It's really rare where I actually have to use the screen real estate on the left, right, or top, bottom. The second thing is because it is a little bit closer to your face, I find that the design is a lot better and they quite a lot more look like normal glasses. The price of the Pro is also going to be $100 more. So that means that if you care about a little bit bigger field of view and you care about it being a tiny bit more stylish, I would consider waiting for that. The second thing that's on the roadmap is that they're trying to add a camera right in between the nose here. It actually looks quite weird. But what they're planning to do with this is first being able to capture video and images. Pretty basic, right? But the second part that I found very interesting is that they might add hand tracking. This is something that I would want because when I use this, for example, in my laptop, I have the glasses and I actually have to have the computer, keyboard, and mouse right in front of me. So say I'm scrolling YouTube, for example, it would be an additional benefit to add that I can scroll YouTube with my fingers and tap a YouTube video with my fingers. So I wouldn't need a computer in front of me at all. I could literally just have the computer to the side and use my hands and potentially voice command to type as well. And that will be an incredible update. There is no promise of this in the roadmap, but I can see if I buy the camera attachment that the hand tracking would be a upgrade that I would actually want to buy. Lastly, is this a replacement for your VR headset or your AI glasses. From the VR headset perspective, I don't find it comfortable to work in at all. And I just ended up using the Quest 2 for gaming. And it's actually really good at that. For being VR headset, you can have a really crazy experience going through big worlds where you feel completely immersed. But if I were to put up a bunch of screens in front of me and start working, it's just really tiring and I want to take it off after some time. To compare this with AI glasses, they don't have a LLM built into them, but you can connect it directly to your phone and then you have the most advanced LLMs right at your fingertips. Say, for example, the use case that Meta does all the time, which is automatic translation. Well, I would say that it's better because you can actually get the auto translation on the screen. Say, for example, you have the transparency mode. You're talking to somebody directly across from you. You would have the side view of a instant translation app and the phone right in front of you. That can mean that you can look directly in the eyes. You can actually see the automatic translation as a side view and have that immersive experience. They don't have a camera yet, so you aren't able to say, for example, hey, take a picture and tell me what I'm looking at. But you can obviously just flip up your phone, take a photo, and then use an LLM in that way. To me, I'm not really sold on AI glasses or VR glasses because literally all I want is a screen, a big one, ultra wide, right in front of me that can also follow my head. And for that, this is it. I'm extremely happy with my purchase. I've been using them, like I said, for the last 10 days and I want to keep using them. Actually, right after I film this video, I'm going to put them on and enjoy not 3 screens, but an ultra wide to sit back, relax, and get some work done. And later tonight, probably gonna play video games on it. So that was all the things you need to know about the Xreal 1. I hope this was helpful to you. Consider subscribing if you love tech and AI. Also, click the link to our sponsor in the link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.